Hello and welcome to optimization questions. Um, we're going to revisit a question that we saw back in Math 12, and you might recognize it's the lidless box, and we're going to make this box out of a piece of cardboard that measures 80 by 40, and we're going to cut away these little squares. Okay, and they're all the same size little squares, and then we're going to fold on the dotted lines and tape the sides together, put a little piece of tape here and here, and then we've got this lidless box, and we would like to make this the biggest volume possible. Okay, so this is what we call optimization. We're trying to look at maximums and minimums, so biggest volume is what we're after. Now I'm just going to refresh your memory as to how we did this in grade 12. And when we did this question in grade 12, it wasn't really a very exact method. So just to refresh your memory, we said, well, what is the volume of this box? So these little dimensions here, maybe I'll change color for that. This little dimension here would have been taking 40, and then when you fold up the sides, you're going to lose x and another x. So this side is 40 minus 2x's, and then this dimension down here is same sort of thinking. It's 80 minus an x minus an x, so 80 minus 2x. So when I go to my box over here, the height of the box is x, the shorter side is 40 minus 2x, and then the longer side is 80 minus 2x. So now I can put this together and say algebraically the volume of the box is equal to the length times width times height. So x times 40 minus 2x times 80 minus 2x. All right, and then what we did in Math 12 was we kind of did a little graph. So let's go ahead and graph this thing. And in our, oh, we got a dotted line happening here. Hold on, let me fix that. Solid line. Okay, so we still got a dotted line. All right, there's got to be a way to fix this thing. All right, I think I might have fixed it. There we go. Okay, so we took our grid and then we said there's some key x-intercepts here. Like we know that whatever this graph looks like, there's the point 0, 0, and then 40 minus 2x. If x was 20, okay, then we would also have an x-intercept. And if x was 40, so we'd make that a 0, we have yet another x-intercept. Okay, and then back in grade 12, we observed that the degree of this was an x times a negative 2x times a negative 2x. So we would have had positive 4x cubed and then a whole bunch of other terms. So we kind of said, oh, that's positive x cubed, and those basic graphs look like this. And then we superimposed our graph onto the grid here. So we say, oh, the graph looks something like this. So up and down and up. So that was kind of our graph. Then we made another little observation, which is, if you look at the situation here, if you make x bigger than 20, even if x is 20, then you have 40 minus 40, and this dimension ceases to exist. And certainly, if it goes bigger than 20, then you're talking negative numbers. So the graph makes no sense given the context, actually from 20 onwards. This is non-existent. And same thing on the negative side. We don't want x to be a negative number. So we were only talking about between 0 and 20. And then what we did in Math 12 was we said, I think we're going to maximize our volume if we're somewhere around 10. And we just kind of split the difference and we made an educated guess and said, I think 10 is going to give us our maximum volume. That's where we left it in Math 12. Now, as we found out, because we played around a little in Desmos, we found out that it wasn't in fact equal to 10. It was a little bit different from that, and that's because this graph isn't perfectly symmetrical here. Okay, so this maximum sways a little to the left or right depending on aspects of the graph. So you're close, but it's not exact. So now what we're going to do is we're going to return to this question, and we're going to use calculus to fix it. And it's pretty easy to see from the graph how we're going to use calculus. If you think of it in terms of even just the first derivative, what do we know about this maximum? Well, this is extrema, and we know that it would be a critical number, and so this maximum is going to occur if that first derivative is equal to 0. So the maximum is going to be if we can make the first derivative equal to 0 and figure out what the x is for that to happen. So it's a very, very simple little addition to this with calculus. So to make it easier, I'm going to go and expand out these brackets and then differentiate. So I did this ahead of time. When I expanded out the brackets, I got 4x cubed minus 240x squared plus 3,200 times x. And so now what I'm interested in doing is saying, to be more exact, we're going to look at where the derivative is. So I find the derivative. So 12x squared. And this one's really nice. Very simple little power rules. And we can see it's not undefined anywhere. So in terms of critical numbers, we're just interested in where does it equal 0. Okay. So that's what we're going to do. And I went ahead and divided everything by 4 just to make the numbers a little bit smaller and easier to work with. Wait a minute. Oh, I wrote this wrong. Sorry. This isn't. Let me go back and fix this. This isn't 240. Man, this is 2 times 240, so it's 480. Yeah. Okay, so we're just going to fix that up. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, that's okay. All right, so I think we're good now. So now we're going to divide everything by 4, and so we're back to being correct. All right. Now I went to try to solve this thing, and I found that the only way to solve this equation was through use of the quadratic formula. So that's what I went ahead and did. So you would have your negative b plus or minus the square root of, big mess in here, the 120 squared, so b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. Now, if you work this down, you will get to 120 plus the square root of 4,800, and that's all over 6. And I went ahead and I worked this out into decimals, and I got 8.45, and then I also got 31.55. So keeping in mind that we don't want x to ever go bigger than 20, my one and only answer seems to be 8.45, which kind of matches when I look at my graph up here as well. So we're very close to 10, but it turns out it's 8.45, and calculus has done that for us. Now, officially, you're supposed to also do a complete analysis here. So I'm just going to show you this so that you're aware of it. To confirm that this is a maximum, you're supposed to do this, although I have the picture over there, and this is looking at your first derivative. You just want to make sure that it is in fact increasing and decreasing so that you know that you have a maximum. Okay, so I went ahead and did that. Of course, it's confirmed, and we have our graph up there as well. So that's how big to make the little square, 8.45, not 10. And that's using calculus to find where this maximum would occur. So I think that's a good place to stop, and I'm going to come back with more examples here in a moment.